okay. Are you okay?
What making a video?
I am making a video. I was going to make a video a minute ago, and I was just kind of reflecting on some of my thoughts. You ever done that before?
No.
You ever just think in your head thoughts? You just kind of wonder and try to piece yourself together and understand the reason you act certain ways? Or is to be a kid just to be able to be thoughtless and free and innocent and not worry about what you do and the actions you do? I don't know. Whoa. Are you eating my bald head? So, Landon, I got a question. When Adam and Eve were in the garden, God was like their father walking through the garden with them, right? I'd say so. And maybe they did silly things that they didn't know better. Like maybe standing on a chair on their dad's back. Probably not the smartest thing to do. But their dad was there to correct them. So Landon, please get down off this chair before you get hurt, bud. Okay. And they listened and they obeyed. And maybe, just maybe, when they took of the tree, they made this first decision without consorting with their dad, and that's what it was. Maybe there was nothing special to the fruit at all, and maybe it was just a regular fruit that they were told not to eat, and when they ate it, they realized they could disobey God, or they didn't need to listen to God, and they decided that God's advice wasn't best for them. Think that might be right? I think it's a possibility, my dude. I'm not saying it's 100% concrete or in iron, but just something to reflect on, thoughts, you know. Makes me realize, you know, maybe I do things sometimes without really considering God's involvement. You know, as a Christian, I think the idea of being a Christian involves us having to consider God in our actions, you know. To be righteous is to consider, is this something God would approve of? Is this something God would have me do? Is this something that fits into God's will? And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, you know, but we should consider that before we do things. And Adam and Eve didn't consider God in that decision. Even though they were told no, they're like, well, I'm not going to consider there's anything more beyond other than God just not wanting us to. Therefore, we should do it. Sometimes I think I do the same thing in my life. I think that sometimes I decide to do things without considering God or His wisdom or His advice, His guidance. And as a Christian, I should do better, and I should be better. And I notice the more I make those type of decisions, the further I feel away from God, and it takes me a while to bring myself back and reconnect. And everything a father wants is he wants connection to his son. Like right now, this young man probably doesn't have to think about spending time with me because I'm just always around. So the idea of me not being around probably never crosses his mind. Me, I have to make a conscious choice to be around him constantly, and I have to make sure I'm there to protect and support him. If he were to push me away and I were to give him that freedom and option, then he would probably make a lot of bad decisions, especially at this age, let alone at 15 and 20 and 25. But even at myself at 32, I make a lot of mistakes, and you know, I don't have a dad in my earthly life, in the reality of what I live in right now. But I do have God as a father, and you know, you would want to keep in contact with your father. You'd want to give him a phone call. You'd want to see how he's doing. And if you didn't do that for a certain period of time, you'd start to feel like, wow, I really need to call home. And the minute you call home, you instantly feel relief, even if you haven't talked to your father for months. And you talk to him, and it's just like, oh, everything's okay, and the world's still ticking and going. And, you know, sometimes we go so long without talking to God, we just need to get in touch and make sure everything's okay. And the thing is, though, is if we just stayed in touch, we'd always know if things are okay, and God's always there to protect us. We wouldn't forget the things our Heavenly Father has done for us or what He continues to do for us. So, just my thoughts. Nothing major. I'm just reading the Bible kind of more at the beginning, because I've heard a lot of different theories, especially doing all these classes in my Christian studies, listening to shows like the Bible Project or my own Bible studies that I listen to online or at church, and everyone kind of has a different theory on the way things are and what they are. And me, you know, I watch a lot of like police shooting videos. I watch a lot of political videos, and not that I have any specific stance in most of these videos, but I try to look at it with a biblical worldview. And when you have a biblical worldview, anyone can become the villain, anyone can become the good guy. You can kind of sense evil. I was doing a discussion post in my class, which right now is historical theology, which is, to me, one of the most boring classes I've done. I can't wait till it's over, but it has its importance. And I was talking with another student, and we were talking about gossip. And, one thing is, like, gossip isn't a man-driven force. I mean, you hear it everywhere, but it's honestly Satan manifesting through the voice of man, in my opinion, and him getting his way. And gossip is just a way man uses to cover up hurt and hang-ups and everything else that's going on in their life. So just some interesting thoughts that's kind of like bouncing off my head, and sitting here with my boys, reading my Bible, and just trying to figure out a couple things in my own life and things I've been experiencing lately. And I've been praying to God, and like these last 3 days have been just so close to God and so awesome in a lot of ways, and a lot of good things have happened. And it's opened up my mind to kind of think and soften a little bit, and I've been kind of looking outside the box instead of taking things at face value. So, our battle isn't against flesh, it's against the demonic presences of the world and spiritual forces in a lot of ways. And I believe that gossip, hate speech, violence is all part of that. Mental illness, it's all part of that in some way. So anyway, just wanted to reflect my thoughts, spending some time with the chamaco, and drinking some coffee, reading my Bible. So I hope everyone has a blessed day, and we'll see you later. You want to tell them to have a blessed day? Have a blessed day. Yep. All right.